I want to call the February 26, 2026 O'Fallon City Council Workshop to order. Roll call, Katie.
Mayor Hennessy.
Present.
Councilmember Wexler.
Present.
Councilmember Roth.
Present.
Councilmember Boyer.
Present.
Councilmember Thompson. Present. Councilmember Coskella.
Present.
Councilmember Kewen.
Present.
Councilmember Taylor.
Present.
Councilmember Cook.
Present.
Councilmember Ragsdale.
Present.
All right, folks, you have an agenda. Mr. Kewen?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to add as item E3, discussion of City Hall entrance closure, please.
I have a motion to add the main entrance to O'Fallon Municipal Center to close. Do I have a second?
Second. Ragsdale.
Second by Councilwoman Ragsdale. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. A motion to approve the amended agenda.
Kewen.
Coskella.
Motion by Councilman Kewen, second by Costello. Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Anything on the council agenda that you folks want to talk about? Seeing none. I'd like to have a motion second to approve the City Council Workshop meeting minutes of February 12th, 2026.
Wexler.
Taylor.
Motion by Councilman Wexler, second by Councilwoman Taylor. Questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is 2025 Community Development Block Grant Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. Melissa?
Now's it going? Okay. I thought I didn't hear myself. All right. Thank you so much. I am here tonight to present to you our Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, or CAPER, as it's more easily called, which is essentially a year in review of expenditures and accomplishments. So, as most of you know, the City of O'Fallon is a CDBG entitlement community, and we utilize those funds for various programs and services, primarily benefiting our low to moderate income residents within O'Fallon. These are the current programs that we offer. We have our interior home repair, our exterior home repair, and mobile home repair programs. We'll get more into those here in just a moment. And then we also have public service activities, the Emergency Homeless Prevention Program, the O'Fallon Transportation Program, and please note that our public services are capped at 15% of our annual allocation amount. So the interior home repair program is structured as a 5-year interest-free forgivable home loan up to $7,500. The homeowner is required to stay in the home for that 5-year time period. If they move, transfer ownership, or borrow against the equity of the home, they are subject to repayment for the amount that they have borrowed. Otherwise, if they remain in the home, that loan is forgiven after that 5-year time period. So obviously, these will cover interior items like HVAC, water heater replacement, plumbing, electrical. Those are some of the projects there that we completed this year. So we assisted 13 households in 2025 and expended $84,105.20. Then we have our exterior home repair program, which is structured as a one-time grant up to $10,000. And this would do exterior home repair needs. So that would cover siding, roofing, dangerous tree removal. And we assisted 12 households and expended $87,022.90. Then we have our mobile home repair program, which is also structured as a grant up to $3,000. And those are just specific for mobile home repairs. So we can do like skirting, HVAC, plumbing, hot water heater. And so last year we assisted 5 households and expended $13,653. We have our emergency homeless prevention, which is administered by the Care Service. This program provides financial assistance for utilities, rent, or mortgage to prevent shutoffs, eviction, and foreclosure. Last year, we assisted 17 households, or 50 individuals, to remain safely housed, and we expended $16,346.70. Then we have our transportation program, which provides non-emergency medical transportation within St. Charles County. To qualify, residents must be at least 62 years of age, or qualify by income, or qualify by HUD Section 504 definition of legal disability. So last year we assisted 77 individuals that received 904 one-way rides to medical appointments, and we expended $42,916.50. We also received non-CDBG funds, our home funds, which are held through the St. Louis County Home Consortium. We utilize this funding for down payment assistance, which provides up to $10,000 for closing costs and down payment for home buyers in O'Fallon. Last year, we assisted 2 households. We also created the affordable rental activities, which was awarded to the Care Service to purchase and offer affordable rental units to qualifying households. The first home was purchased in December and is located in Ward 4, and we are currently working through the process of finalizing that purchase. So we are in our public comment period right now, and that will extend through Monday, March 16th at 4 p.m. So if you have any comments or anything that you would like for me to include with the CAPER submittal to HUD, please feel free to submit a comment form or send me an email.
Questions for Melissa? Mr. Roth?
Yes, Melissa. You showed so many one-way rides. Do you guys count that as one way there and one way back?
Correct.
Okay, that was a pretty simple question.
Yep, so going one way, one leg of the trip counts as one trip, and then coming back would count it as a separate.
Now, if you're going to the same place, same person, why don't you guys count that as a round trip?
Correct. So right now the program can offer 18 one-way or 9 round-trip rides.
No.
So sometimes, like with our dialysis patients, they have another family member that can pick them up or take care of one leg of the journey. That kind of, that extends that program a little bit for them. Otherwise, if they take a ride there and take a ride home, that is a round-trip ride.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Amanda?
And that's per month,
Per year.
per year?
Per
Oh.
year. Yeah.
Anybody else? Thank you.
All right. Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much. Have a great evening, everyone.
Mr. DeBell, talk about main entrance to City of O'Fallon Municipal Center being closed.
Sir. Thank you, Mayor, City Council. As you no doubt noticed when you came in today, there is scaffolding going up around the rotunda. This is actually we're finally able to do the repairs from the massive hailstorm a couple years ago, and we're starting with the dome and on the clock tower. Because of this, the scale of this project, and also will eventually include more of the rest of the roof, for the safety of residents, for the safety of our employees, using that front entrance is just not really going to be an option during this time. There's going to be material all around. There'll be workers coming and going and everything. So we are going to have to, as you guys were notified earlier this week, close the entrance to City Hall during this time from Main Street. We will have, obviously, the Sonderan entrance will be the main entrance. You will come in and you will go through the east entrance as you would usually, as residents do, and when they're here for evening meetings and such, they all come through that. So, but it'll just be all day long. We will have a detour that will be signed and will be out. If you're coming from the north, headed south, you will just proceed past the entrance to Elm, take Elm to Sonderan and back through the back door. At Sonderan, obviously, if you're coming from the south, you would just turn at Elm. And again, all this will be signed when it goes out and the road closes down, or excuse me, as the parking lot closes down. The other question that comes up all the time is, where's the parking going to be? So if you look at this, anything in red is reserved for public parking. Employees will not be allowed to park there under any circumstances. If they do, we will tell them to move. So anything in red will be for them. The blue is for ADA parking designated. We do have the ability to expand this if we need to. We think this will be enough, but if we need to change it as we go forward, we will. Obviously, special days like Election Day and things like that, we'll have to make some adjustments to going forward to make sure we have plenty of room for the public to come in. And then the overflow lot on the other side of the tracks, we will move all of the city vehicles that are not used all the time over there, and that'll just become the storage lot for them in the short term while we're doing this. And that's about it. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Got a time frame of how long?
Thank you. Yes, it'll be through mid-June. We're hoping it'll be sooner than that, but to be safe, we will do that. We'll say that for now.
Okay. Questions? John?
Yes. Hey, can you go back to that map again with the color codes on it?
Certainly. That one?
Yes. Blue is barricades, right?
There's actually two blues on here. The blue lines that you see, yes, are barricades, but the blue, maybe that's purple, I'm sorry, I can't tell, is the ADA parking there.
I thought that was supposed to be the handicap parking.
Yeah, that's the ADA parking there, yes.
I'm that far away that I can't tell the colors either.
I'm standing right here and I have no idea.
Well, then we're on the same page.
Anybody else? Thanks, sir.
All right, thank you all. Have a good night.
Any other items for consideration? Seeing none, like closed session 610-0211, legal action, cause of action, or litigation involving public governmental body, and any confidential or privileged communication between a public governmental body or its representative and its attorney. 610-0212, leasing, purchasing, or sale of real estate, and 610-0212. Sealed bids, related documents till the bids are opened, and sealed proposals and related documents or any documents related to a negotiated contract until a contract is executed or all proposals are rejected.
So moved, Ragsdale.
Second, Wexler.
Motion by Councilman Ragsdale, second by Councilman Wexler. Roll call, Katie.
Councilmember Cascola.
Yes.
Councilmember Boyer.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yes.
Councilmember Cook.
Yes.
Councilmember Ragsdale. Yes. Councilmember Wexler.
Yes.
Councilmember Thompson.
Yes.
Councilmember Roth.
Yes.
Councilmember Kewen.
Yes.
All right, we'll be up in the community room at 5:50. I'm going to call the February 26, 2026 O'Fallon City Council meeting to order. Roll call, Bess.
Mayor Hennessy.
Present.
Councilmember Wexler.
Present.
Councilmember Roth.
Present.
Councilmember Boyer.
Present.
Councilmember Thompson.
Present.
Councilmember Cascola.
Present.
Councilmember Kewen.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Present.
Councilmember Cook.
Present.
Councilmember Ragsdale.
Present.
If everyone would please stand for the invocation by Police Chaplain Janine Ellett, a member of the First Baptist Church, followed by a Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Thompson.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for tonight and the opportunity to lift up this great town of O'Fallon, the city of O'Fallon, and the residents and the council members, the mayor and the staff. And Father, I just pray for your wisdom and your discernment this evening. I pray for the law enforcement that keeps our city safe, and I pray for their protection over them. And I just thank you once again for this opportunity, and I pray that you would just be with us tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Folks, you have an agenda in front of you. What's the pleasure?
Motion to approve Ragsdale.
Second Wexler.
Motion by Councilman Ragsdale, second by Councilman Wexler. Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Ms. Ragsdale?
These are probably my favorite meetings of the year because I absolutely love getting to hear the DARE graduates read their essays and having the opportunity to share with all of you and all of our folks at home too. So tonight we have 3 DARE readers that went through the DARE program, and before I ask them to come up to read their essays, I would like to invite Officer Taylor Bradley to come up so that she can tell us a little bit about what it was like teaching these wonderful students.
Hi, I'm Officer Bradley. I have had the honor of teaching DARE this past semester at 3 different schools. DARE is a drug abuse resistance education curriculum. It's taught to prevent alcohol and drug addiction in the future, but it also teaches strategies on how to deal with bullying, stress, peer pressure, and other life skills. So it is a great program that the city and the police department partner together to send officers into the school and teach these 5th graders.
Thank you. Okay, so our first DARE reader tonight from MG Elementary is Kate, and I'm sorry, Kate, I'm not sure how to say your last name, but Kate, come on up, bring your family and friends and whoever is with you, and make sure you introduce everybody in the crowd to who you've got. Thank you. You know what, let me lower this for you.
Thank you.
That's about as low as it's gonna get. There you go.
This is my friend.
Well, he told me how this was going to work, and apparently it's not working that way.
It's okay.
There we go.
So I just say my name and then my.
Yep, and then introduce who's with you. All right.
My name is Catherine McGorley, and these are my 2 friends, Tegan and Ethan, and that is my mom, and that is my dad.
And then who's that?
Oh, and this is Officer Bradley.
Can't forget Officer Bradley.
And then I start?
Yes.
Have you ever wondered how to make smart choices when in tough situations? DARE has taught me just that. DARE is important because it shows how to do responsible stuff. I've learned how to make good choices, resist peer pressure, stop and address bullying, and how to choose healthy habits. One important skill of the DARE program is how to resist peer pressure. Peer pressure is people your age trying to get you to do stuff you don't want to do. You can get away from it by saying no, telling a trusted adult, broken record, and walking away. There are many other strategies you can use in that situation. I've witnessed some peer pressure. Someone I know was telling me not to play with another person. The other person did the same thing to me. I felt confused and stuck in the middle. I should have told them how I felt instead of playing with one of them at a time. The next time I get in a situation like that, I will walk away and play with someone else. Another important skill is knowing not to do drugs and what they do to you. Drugs affect your ability to make healthy choices and decisions. They also interfere with the way neurons receive, send, and process signals to the brain. If I ever got in contact or saw someone with drugs, I would walk away and tell a trusted adult. How to stop and address bullying is another thing that the DARE program teaches. It is super important to be able to address and stop bullying. There are many ways to get away or stop it from happening. Broken record, walk away, tell a trusted adult, and many more. For example, the broken record is a strategy for people to use when they want to get away from bullying. The person says the exact same word again and again till the person can get away. If I was in that situation where I was getting bullied, I would walk away and tell a trusted adult. In conclusion, DARE has taught me a lot of life lessons that I can use in the future. We have talked about how to address and stop bullying, what drugs can do to your body, and peer pressure. All of these things can happen to anyone, so it's best to know what to do in these situations. I feel ready to make smart choices in middle school and beyond, thanks to DARE.
Congratulations, young lady. Were you more nervous here or when you did it at school? Here. Here? Well, there's not that many people out there watching you. Congratulations, young lady.
Thank you.
Thank you. And before I introduce the next student, one thing that I do want to say is these students that are here tonight reading their essays, they were, all the fifth graders wrote essays, and then at their DARE graduation, one student from each class was selected to read their essay in front of their entire fifth grade graduating class. So these students have had to read their essays in front of a lot of people before, and we were just asking, some of them still get nervous because I guess all of us as adults, we're all really intimidating. So let's try and not let the students feel scared of us. And then when the students from each class read their essay, we select one from the school to represent. So these are the best of the best, and it was really hard because they were all so good. So second up, we have from Pheasant Point Elementary, we have Miss Nora. Come on up and bring your family and friends with you. Thank
you. This is my parents, Jamie Chapman and Michael Chapman.
And then who's this over here?
Officer Bradley.
Because she's here for you too.
Yeah. Dear myself, my name is Nora Elizabeth Chapman. I am 10 years old and I am in 5th grade. My hobbies are piano and gymnastics. My family is mom, dad, me, and my 2 cats, Pikachu and Gengar. I live in Missouri, and I like drawing and creating stories. My personality is sweet, smart, a bit sassy, and funny. My strengths are reading, writing, and storytelling. I'm good at taking care of people and making sure they're okay. The activities I like to do are playing with my friends and playing video games. My chores are feeding the kitties and playing the piano. I felt in the DARE program like I could learn how to stay away from drugs and to be healthy and safe. I think it was very important in 5th grade so we could hang out with the right people all the time and to make good choices, and if not, how to improve. Made me think a lot about my future, who I could really be, and to stay responsible along the way. I've been thinking about middle school a lot, but never really the clubs. I do want to join the swim team, however. I think being involved in DARE could help me pick the right people to be around, what to avoid, and what to want. I have thought about one thing in high school, and that is getting into the gifted program so I could prove I'm a very smart girl and that girls can do everything men can. I've always worked on that goal by reading and getting smarter and smarter. I want to be the kind of student who cares for other people's needs and wants and who is very intelligent. I want to be in the gifted program in high school also because I love learning, so I'm in my right place for it. I want to get into WashU, my favorite college, and get a doctorate in health and maybe get a master's degree. After college, I want to be either a doctor or a therapist. It will be important to make good choices and be responsible because if I do drugs or goof off in college, I'll be kicked out. I've learned to use the DARE decision-making model so I won't make bad decisions. I've understood risks and consequences that way. It was important to hear the DARE decision-making model so I can assess the situation without making a random decision like I used to. It is important to be safe and responsible so we all make good choices and so we won't get as hurt as often and to protect ourselves from anything else comes my way. I pledge to be drug-free because it is important to live a safe and happy life and to have good friends and close relationships with my family and to think responsibly, safely, trustfully, and helpfully. I will work my hardest to get into WashU as well.
Nice job, young lady. Congratulations. Very nice job. So are you nervous? Yeah, a little bit. Great job, though. Congratulations, young lady.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. See, now that I think I actually know how this works, I'm not going to drop the mic or have anyone else drop the mic. So our third student from Twin Chimneys Elementary is Yuktha, and I'm not going to try and pronounce the last name. I give up on all last names tonight. Thank you.
My name is Yuktha Gavi, and I'm 11 years old. I'm a 5th grade student at Twin Chimneys Elementary in OFallon, Missouri. Today I have my parents here, so is my teacher, Mrs. Eichhorst, and our dear officer, Officer Bradley. I'd like to thank everyone that came with me. To begin, my family and friends are very important to me. I really like to play with my friends, read, write, and play instruments. I think kindness and empathy come naturally to me, so I have no trouble with helping others. In DARE, I learned how to stay drug-free by resisting drug-related things and saying no to stay safe. I also learned how to communicate better, not just verbally, but non-verbally too. Most importantly, I learned how to make good decisions. First, you define the problem. What's the problem? Challenge your opportunity. Next, assess. What are your choices? What can you do? Then, respond to the problem or challenge. Look at the choices you have and do the best one. Are you going to be demanding by yelling and getting mad? Or are you going to be confident and respond appropriately? Finally, evaluate your decision. Did your decision solve the problem or make it better? What happened? I use this all the time, and it helps me make the best decisions. I plan to use what I've learned to make safe and responsible decisions when there's a problem that I need to react to or solve. For example, when I was working on a group project with my friends, somebody wasn't really involved with what we were doing. I noticed that me and my other friend were mostly doing everything. I could either just ignore them or ask them what they think we should do next. Ignoring them would have them ending up not getting enough practice with what we were working on. So I asked the friend that was left out what they thought we should do next. Then they got more involved when they answered, and they started helping us with the project. In the end, our work turned out amazing. Sometimes, though, you can make poor decisions, and those can have major consequences. Like if your friend is trying to get you to steal something from a classmate. You know it's wrong, but your friend is begging and begging. So you agree to do it, and then you get in trouble with the teacher. The best thing is to stay calm in those situations. Tell your friend why you won't do it, and hopefully they'll respect that you both shouldn't do it. Always try to communicate more clearly so you can solve the problem better. When I think about middle school and high school, it makes me want to work as hard as I can. Because I know school is going to get a lot harder when I get older. So if I try my absolute best in class now, I'll be more committed in middle and high school. I'm not just talking about my grades, though. I'm talking about my reputation. I want to be seen as a kind and hardworking person, not someone who's lazy and rude. I promise to make good choices, think before I act. I promise to resist drugs and violence, say no to them. And I promise to remember everything I learned in DARE, to keep using what I learned so I can make better decisions and stay safe. Thank you.
Very confident, very nice job. You can have my seat come later, all right? Congratulations, nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we give all of our DARE readers another round of applause? And Officer Bradley, thank you so much.
Next, I'd like to have a motion to ratify my appointment of Greg Lammert to serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission as a commission member from Ward 2 with a term expiring of April of 2026.
Thompson?
Boyer.
Motion by Councilwoman Thompson, second by Councilman Boyer. Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Brings us to citizens' comments. Just as a reminder, it's a 3-minute time limit. Our first speaker is Mr. Dienoff.
Good evening, members of the City Council. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dienoff, City Public Advocate, running in April to be the next City Councilman of Ward 1. First of all, I'd like to say there's a number of buried resolutions, A through F. All those, and then there's G through J at the end of the agenda. It's about $6 million worth of expenditures. It's for 2 dump trucks, concrete, alarm systems, supplies for the water, sodium for the water, which I'm not sure if that's safe for our drinking water. Our real-time information center, another $4,000. A change order for wastewater division, a drone in the amount of $127,000. Actually, yeah, $27,500. Wow. And it was only budgeted for $25,000. That's a huge increase, and I've got some questions about that. Website accessibility for $10,000 and a change order for North Main Street, which puts up a lot of red flags. Why do we do bids if they're going to change their scenario and charge us $415,000 more money? Now, when it comes to Bill 7819 and 7820 for Mr. Schneider, I ask that you vote no and crush those bills. And I ask you to crush the bill for Bill number 7830, rezoning planned unit development for McBride and Sons. It's unnecessary, and I'd rather see a R1 straight zoning. You know, I was approached at the state capitol this week by 5 legislators, and they all had questions about Steve Cascella. They want to ask how he orchestrated at the Planning and Zoning Commission, the City Council, because evidently there's a clip out on YouTube, and they all saw it, about how he orchestrated suppliers, contractors, employees of McBride and Sons to come up here and say how great his project was. Well, I ask that you as City Council members follow the money. Build St. Louis PAC, who McBride funnels money through, donated to Mr. Cascella. Houston Homes, McKelvey Homes, Fisher Homes, Payne Family Homes gave to Mr. Cascella. KABP, a hidden LLC run and operated by Bill Lukenhaus, gave to Mr. Cascella. And Survey St. Louis works for Mr. Cascella, which is the political underminer person, Tom Smith. Steve Cascella
Mr.
is
Dienoff, you
Vice
need to
President.
be talking about agenda items, not about personal people.
I'm talking about the agenda item. Steve Cascella is Vice President of C. Bennett Building Supplies, which has a contract with McBride and Sons for fireplaces, appliances, doors, closets,
Mr.
mirrors,
Dienoff,
and I could
Mr.
go on.
Dienoff, your time is up. Mr.
Recuse
Dienoff.
yourself.
Mr. Dienoff, your time is up, sir. Next speaker is Dan Sullivan.
Good evening. Citizen of O'Fallon, and I'm here in support of the Kabbalah Farms development.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker is Jim Thomas.
Good evening. My name is Jim Thomas. I've been a resident of O'Fallon since '85. When I first moved here, with no extension of Highway K all the way to 4061, we had an IGA, we had a Kmart, we had a Kroger, we actually had the K-Shop, and that's about the majority of what we had. I'm so proud our population has grown as it has in the past, and we look forward every day to more people coming into our community. And I'm standing here before you to let you know that I am in favor of McBride Homes and this new project. If you look around in the city of O'Fallon, McBride has built so many communities over the course of the years, and I'm actually a resident of Winghaven, and I'm very proud to say, of anything at this point tonight, approve them, and I'm proud to say I'm an O'Fallon resident, and thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker is Rose Zook.
Hello, council members. I remember from the last meeting that the developer said starter homes were going to be $250,000. And when I looked at the fiscal analysis, it says $450,000. And with a household median of $125,000 for the year. I'm not actually totally against building. I just want it to be smart growth type of building. I know R1 considers 4.5 homes to an acre as low density. That's still a lot of homes per acre. Why can't they do 1 to 2 homes? The developer will still make money. And that's all I had to say.
Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker is Angie Carter.
Good evening. I'm Angie Carter. I am a homeowner in O'Fallon, and I'm just here to say I'm in support of the Caballo Farms project.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Liz Rosario.
Good evening. My name is Liz Rosario. I am a City of O'Fallon resident, and I'm here to say I support this project.
Thank you, ma'am. And our last speaker is Jeremy Roth.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Jeremy Roth, 17415 North Outer 40 in Chesterfield, Missouri. It seems like recently in St. Charles County, every new development, subdivision, even coffee shop faces overwhelming opposition. I'm here tonight to speak in favor of Caballo Farms, and Caballo Farms over the last month has received overwhelming support here at the City of O'Fallon. At the Planning and Zoning public hearing, there were 13 speakers in favor and 1 against. At the City Council, there were 15 speakers in favor and 2 against. The theme of the comments from the support: we need more housing like this in O'Fallon. This will support O'Fallon companies in the home building industry. This will support union jobs. This is a great project for O'Fallon. There are a lot of people in the audience tonight, including O'Fallon residents, business owners, and union tradespeople that are in support of the project. They didn't necessarily all speak, but I would ask those here in support tonight that are in favor of Caballo Farms just to raise your hand. Thank you. Thank you. That's all I had, and I'm hopeful that you will all vote in support of this project. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That's all our citizens' comments. Ward reports. Ward 4.
Thank you. A resident from my ward recently reached out wanted to address the council, and unfortunately I had informed them of our rule of requiring residents to speak on the agenda items, a rule that, I've talked about, limits the voices of our community. So this evening I invited him, Mr. Williams, to take my ward report to speak on it. So if you wanted to come up, Mr. Williams, thank you. It's an issue that's really affecting our ward.
Good evening. I'd like to say hi to all of you. I'd like to talk about Nelson Land and Pool. They're out our back door, and summertime's coming, and all winter it's been pretty bad. As with the snow, they run 24 hours a day for days in a row. I know they're not supposed to. I've tried to call the police, have something stop, but police walk away. So I kind of give up. So I did file a complaint. I haven't heard where it's going. But summer's coming, and they're out there at 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning all the time. 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Doesn't really matter. But I would like to invite all of you over to our house and let you see what we see. I said I would like to invite all of the council to our house to let you see what we see daily. Pardon me? Nelson Land and Pool Company. I know you've talked a little bit about it up here, I believe. Okay.
All right.
All right, well, so anyway, I would like to put an end to it. You know, this business moved in a couple years ago, and they've really grown. They have 99 employees. It's just gotten out of hand. The people that live down the hill from us on the street, they have flooding problems because they've expanded their parking area. The runoff is tremendous. It's like water. It's gushing waterfalls. Rivers run through their yard. I know they said they've come up and complained to the city about it, but nothing's ever been done. You know, nothing's done. So I would like the council to kind of step up and do something about this problem. We talked about moving. We're empty nesters. We have a 2-story home, 4-bedroom. It's very large. We don't need it. We'd like to move. It's not going to happen. No one's going to buy our home. We have to tell anybody that comes, Nelson Land runs 24 hours a day, 365 days a year at any given time. It's not all day long. It's not all night long. It could be any time. So this is what I'm asking the council. I'd like to invite you all over. You could all come at once or come when you want.
If you would give us your address.
It's 1256 Clinton Hill Court.
1256?
Yes. And I have plenty of videos, if you'd like to watch them, of the hours that they run during the night, the noise, what they do back there. The way their property's set up, where they operate their heavy equipment, all the noise comes between their building, between the houses, comes up. The house next to us actually sits back. So all the sound bounces off that house and comes back this way. It's just constant. You know, they wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. When the snow came, they woke me up at 3:15. I was 5:45 was the last time I noticed the clock. I fell asleep. At 6:30, I got woke up. It was the owner. He's back there loading salt up in a salt spreader. And then he went and parked the truck and went home. It's like I didn't get it. Do they do it on purpose? I don't know. But I don't believe he's licensed to run 24 hours a day, is he? Does anybody have an answer for that?
Mr. Snowden?
Sir, I'm asking the chief to reach out to you as soon as you're done speaking to talk to you about this.
Okay.
Between the police department and code enforcement, we've been working on this for months.
Have you?
It sounds like you're not getting any
Well, I called
feedback on what's been happening.
the first time I called. Officer went up and he said, "That's okay. Go ahead," and left. Okay. Officer comes up and says, "You know, whatever he said, I'm not sure. I wasn't upstairs. Upstairs, you can really hear it. I was downstairs in the kitchen. Anna was upstairs, and she said, I can't believe it. That officer made a big joke out of it, and they all laughed." It's like, geez, you know, what good does it do to call? I call again, and the officer comes up, and they told him, "Oh, we have a right to do this. It's just no emergency." Do they have the right to do that? That's what I want to find out.
In a word, no, they do not have a right to disturb the neighbors at all hours of the day. That's why the police department and code enforcement are working this issue.
Okay.
So the chief will meet you in the back of the room and talk to you about what's going on.
All right.
So that you can get some.
We all have to get on the same page here.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely right.
You know, I understand that I was told from other people that the city can't do nothing to him, make him correct the problems in his property or anything else because he's under an agricultural license, or the property's under agriculture because it used to be a tree farm.
So it's not easy to correct this, but it's not impossible.
Okay.
And that's why the city's working on it.
All right. Well, I hope we can work together on it and get this thing done.
Okay.
You know. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that it, Ms. Taylor? Amanda? Is that it? Mr. Kewen?
I have no report tonight. Sorry, I couldn't hear you, sir. Hard of hearing.
All right.
That's as loud as they go.
Ward 5.
Nothing tonight, sir.
Ms. Ragsdale?
Good evening. So first, congratulations to Joy Dune and the U.S. women's hockey team on bringing home gold. We are so proud of you. Then I know they've already left, but thank you to our DARE readers for sharing their essays tonight. They were very inspirational, and I think they are always a welcome part of our meetings. I now want to turn to several items on tonight's agenda. First, I want to say that I'm not necessarily against Kabbalah, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time pronouncing that. You all know what I mean. But my only question is, why does it need to come into the city of O'Fallon? Why can't it be built where it is currently in unincorporated St. Charles? We have 4 voluntary annexation bills followed by this rezoning request, all to enable McBride to develop a new subdivision. Again, I'm not opposed to new subdivisions, and I appreciate all of you being here and the many emails of support that we've had on this project. But I do have serious questions about asking the city to annex this land rather than allowing McBride to develop it in unincorporated St. Charles County. We have to stop framing this as big bad O'Fallon versus the rest of the county. That kind of rhetoric pits neighbors against neighbors, and it is not productive. Looking at our agenda packet, I see no financial analysis supporting these annexations. Doesn't our comprehensive plan require one? Was that analysis omitted because it's assumed we'll see the financial detail if and when Bill 7830 comes before us? When we look at the city's financial analysis for this development, it shows a projected loss to the city of more than $7 million over 20 years. That matters. If we annex and take on new territory, we're also taking on new responsibilities. And I have to explain to Ward 5 residents why the services they pay for through their taxes are reduced or because resources are being diverted to cover these annexed areas. The city's analysis indicates this development would cost our current residents, not just draw on future tax revenues. Where else do you think these dollars will come from, if not from services that our residents already expect? I don't want to single out McBride unfairly. I myself live in a McBride neighborhood, and I absolutely love my home. But I do want to share some concerns from my own personal experience. When I moved into my McBride community in 2017, HOA fees were only $150 per year, plus a one-time $500 reserve contribution. With 284 homes, that would produce roughly $142,000 in reserves. When the residents were finally able to take control of the HOA board, assessments immediately had to rise from $150 per year to $350 per year just to break even, a steep increase that upset many homeowners. It appears reserves were drawn down to cover the shortfalls. We've only recently rebuilt our reserves to about $53,000. McBride's initial low assessments made homes attractive to buyers, but left questions about long-term fiscal sustainability for the HOA and for homeowners. We should also be honest about affordability. The estimated average home price in O'Fallon is about $365,000. According to the city's analysis, a single-family home in this development would average $450,000. With a 10% down payment, the mortgage would be roughly $400,000. At a 30% fixed rate of, a 30-year fixed rate of 6%, principal and interest alone would be about $2,400 per month. Add insurance, the CID that's likely going to come, HOA fees, taxes, your annual housing costs will approach about $35,750. If a household limits housing costs to 30% of income, they'd need to earn more than $120,000 per year. And that assumes that they have already saved the $45,000 for the down payment. Is that the profile of the young adults that people want to keep nearby? Again, I am not fundamentally opposed to McBride building here. My concern is strictly fiscal prudence. We should not expand our boundaries and our city's obligations without clear, transparent financial justification, especially when the city's own analysis projects a multi-million-dollar net cost. Before we vote to annex, we must understand who bears the cost and how service levels for the current residents will be protected. Thank you.
Ward 1.
How's everybody doing today? Linda always takes all my good stuff I want to talk about, and I just want to double up on Joy Dunn and the Dunn family, or Dooney family. Can't say much more about getting a gold medal through the Olympics. I've actually got to watch her and her sister kind of play through Little League and everything. I used to coach for North Hockey, and got to see them kind of come up a little bit. So it's neat to see when a hometown person can get out there and make a good name for themselves. That's all I got.
Mr. Wexler.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say thank you to the DARE readers. I think it's cool to see young kids get up and public speak. I know it's hard, but it's something that is a great skill to have. So thank you. That's all I got.
Thank you. Ward 2.
I have nothing this evening. Thank you.
Mr. Boyer.
Senior Fair, March 11th. That's all I got.
Mr. Cascala, Ward 3.
Nothing for me tonight, Mayor.
All right. City Administrator's Report, Mr. Snowden.
Thank you, sir. Some quick construction updates. I'd like to let everyone know that the construction of the Center for Advanced Skills Training in Law Enforcement is coming along nicely. The EVOC track is approximately 85% completed, and the structural steel for all of the buildings is on site, while pad prep work continues. We are anticipating a complete build-out in the third quarter of this year. Speaking of build-out, the Real-Time Information Center, also known as the ARTIC, is on track for a mid-March completion. We anticipate 5 other police agencies coming on board to utilize the ARTIC, and over 20 staff members from all the agencies will begin training next week on the use of the facility. The Public Works and Fleet facility that is being constructed is approximately 60% completed, and the opening plan for late summer is on track. The Parks Department staff did a great job clearing out the underbrush from the city-owned land at Wabash and T.R. Hughes. The site looks really nice now that it has been cleaned up. And lastly, the project to turf all or part of the 7 fields at the Ozzie Smith Sports Complex is on track for an early spring completion. All in all, it's a great year for construction projects here in O'Fallon, and an exciting time to see what the future holds. And that's all I have for tonight, sir.
Thank you, sir. Brings us to old business, brings to Bill 7819. The applicant has asked that this be tabled until the March 12th meeting.
Roth makes a motion to table it.
Motion to table by Councilman Roth. Do I have a second?
Second, Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Brings to Bill 7820. Again, the applicant has asked this to be till the March 12th meeting, tabled till the March 12th meeting.
Motion to table, Wexler.
Roth.
Motion by Councilman Wexler, second by Councilman Roth. Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Hey, Mayor, can I touch in on that?
Sure.
For a second. This has been tabled a few times. We are still trying to get some information with the fire department, the ambulance district. Some electric poles has to be moved. So we're still trying to do our due diligence about it. I know a lot of us don't like to keep tabling stuff, but we do want to try to get the right information before we make a decision on this. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Brings to Bill 7826. Motion for second reading.
Cascala.
Motion by Cascala, second.
Kewen.
Second by Councilman Kewen. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Bill number 7826, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance approving a petition for voluntary annexation filed by Aaron and Sherry Moore regarding certain property contiguous and compact to the city of O'Fallon, Missouri, and generally located at 74 Gallup Lane.
Thank you. Most final passage.
Cascala.
Motion by Cascala, second.
Kewen.
Second by Councilman Kewen. Questions or comments? Ms. Taylor?
Yeah, I was going to talk about numbers and stuff like that, but now I've been thrown off with some of the citizens' comments that came from Mr. Dienoff. And we've been through this before, right? We've had conflicts of interest and council members resigning from it. So, and I know I'm going to get questions, so I just wanted to make it clear before we go on, there's no conflict of interest with this. Mr. O'Keefe, is there, like, with, because I know, like, the company works for, it's like a supplier, so I just wanted to make sure before we go on, you know, there's no conflict of interest with this or anything?
That's correct.
Okay. Because that's what I was like, I don't want to go through all that again, you know? Yeah, so, but I'll go to the other. I had some questions about, you know, the numbers. We were talking about the financials for all this kind of stuff. And like I had said before, you know, I liked, you know, that this was affordable housing. Look, you talked about union jobs. Of course, I like that. And I just think, one, I mean, there's a huge problem with the county just approved like a 500 home development right down that in and is already chaotic. And I just think there's problems there. But I think this isn't what we're really voting on, right, tonight. We're not really voting on it being built, because they can build it, right? I mean, it's in St. Charles County. I mean, this can be built, whether it's in St. Charles County or O'Fallon. We're voting to whether or not it should be annexed into O'Fallon, right? And that's where I have an issue, because looking even at the financials of this is expected for O'Fallon to lose money. And I know, like, from just the financials of the city, it said something like $7 million. And I was looking through those numbers. Some people were talking about it, and that was $7 million of a loss of a house, you know, that's based off $450,000, not even like the affordable price. So this is $7 million loss based on like the most expensive of these houses. This is a loss. It also showed numbers that these houses be appreciating by like 4%, which would put these after like 20 years at like $1 million, which I don't think they're at that, you know. So I think, I mean, it just boggles my mind, you know, that we're going to be losing money, that our residents will have to like pay for this. That's why I said this can be built, but why does O'Fallon have to burden this cost? Let the county, you know, take care of the roads. I mean, this is asking our residents who we already struggle. We already struggle with having to get our roads fixed, potholes fixed. I mean, and we're told when we're trying to get the budget up, you know, we're bare minimum at the budget. So we can't even get our roads fixed. And you want us to take on a debt? And then where it's at, it's not like we're going to get sales tax from this. I mean, everybody that lives over in that area is going to go shop right across the street at like St. Louis. So that's why I'm saying let it be built. But annexing it into O'Fallon, I just can't get my mind on that. And I can't understand how anybody would be for us taking on debt for this.
Anybody else? Ms. Cook?
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a quick question. If we vote on these and they pass, but then when the actual project does not, what happens to the annexations?
The annexation decision is a standalone proposition.
It's on.
I guess my question is, I wish this had been in a different order where we were actually voting on the rezoning and the area plan of Cabela's before we started voting on these annexation of these individual lots, because I realize there's a lot of different owners on these pieces of property. So if the individual pieces of property gets annexed in, but then when it comes time to vote on the actual development, the area plan and it gets voted down, what happens to the annexations?
Absent any other action, the annexations would stand, but you can't vote on the zoning of the property that's not in the city.
Mr. Kuhn?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we're talking about the cost of a subdivision. I, like the gentleman who spoke earlier, I haven't been here quite as long as you have. I moved out here in 1994. But I remember the K-shop, I remember the IGA, I remember the two-lane K that went from Feisey all the way down to the stoplight at 61. I remember the four-way stop sign at two-lane K and two-lane N that coming north in the evenings, if you caught it at the wrong time, especially if there was an accident, take an hour and a half to get through that one stop sign. We've come a long, long way since then. We had one Schnucks, we had one Shop and Save, we had one Aldi. Very few restaurants other than the locals. Forgive my voice. Guess what? Every subdivision we've built in this city since 1994, since before 1994, uses more money and services than they provide. And why do they do that? Because we have businesses to help us to pay those taxes. Unlike if you go to, say, Wildwood, where they don't have that many businesses, their property taxes are much, much higher because they don't have the businesses to support it. And maybe, just maybe, they pay enough in their property taxes that they're a net positive to the city. So why would we annex anybody into the city? Because all those businesses that came here, the ones that now pay our property taxes, that help keep our streets fitted, help keep our police department fitted, and help keep our city a thriving community, came here because the people were here. They follow the rooftops, not the other way around. If we decide that we're done growing, that we're going to wait for all of the roads to be perfect, and we're going to wait for the taxes to grow, there's only one way the taxes grow if we don't continue to grow, and that's start taking more money from each of us. We're not taking money from the residents to support another subdivision. We're taking the subdivision to support another business that will support all the subdivisions. I understand why people want to annex in O'Fallon. I love living in O'Fallon. What is that, 32 years I've lived here now? I hope to live here a lot longer. And I love, like you said, sir, very well put, I love the progress that this city has made. We've gone from a little whistle stop almost to the prominent city in St. Charles County and maybe even in Missouri. Every year we get accolades, national accolades, talking about O'Fallon. What a great city it is to live in, to raise kids in, because it's safe. We have good schools. We have a good community. We have a low tax base. We're doing great out here. Why wouldn't I want somebody else to be in the city of O'Fallon? Absolutely. Let's have them all. Let's grow. Let's bring more businesses out here. Let's keep watching our property taxes go down. One last point. In the 9 years I've sat in this office, we have voted to lower the city's portion of your property taxes 3 times. We have never raised them. And we can do that because we keep growing, we keep building, businesses keep coming, and they keep helping us pay our taxes. So let's not lose sight of the big picture for the small one. Thank you.
Anybody else? Ms. Ragsdale.
Thank you. Again, I'm not saying let's not build this at all. It doesn't need to be in O'Fallon. And if you're talking about the businesses and sales tax, we can potentially still get the businesses and the sales tax, but we don't have to take on this additional expense in O'Fallon to achieve this goal. Thank you.
Ms. Taylor.
Yeah, you talk about the businesses, but I just said, what businesses will these homes be in supporting? We're going to be supporting Lake St. Louis businesses, not O'Fallon. You think they're going to drive down the K when it takes them an hour to get to there? And you talked about raising taxes, but you know, in this financial estimate, if you went through it, it talked about this was also based on these taxes increasing to 5%. So our financials with this multi-million-dollar loss we're going to have is including a tax raise. You know, so residents are going to be paying the price. And I mean, you want to tell our ward we can't fix a pothole because we don't have the money? Because why? We have to, take in a loss with this? That's all I have to say.
Anybody else? Mr. Kewen?
Well, this may be a big surprise, but everything's not developed down there yet. There will be more businesses. Likely some of them will be in O'Fallon. And I live in O'Fallon. I live right in the middle of O'Fallon. And I try to shop in O'Fallon every chance I get. But I'm not going to tell you I haven't been to Lake St. Louis. I'm not going to tell you I haven't been to St. Peter's. And I'm not going to tell you I haven't been to St. Charles. Suggesting that taxes must go up because we add houses, well, we must have been doing it wrong in the last 32 years, because that's not how it's been going. We've grown from 20,000 to 100,000, and somehow our property taxes, the city's portion, as a percentage, has gone down and down and down. The only reason it's gone up, our property values have gone up. House I bought 30 years ago is now worth 3 times what I paid for it, probably a little more. And, I mean, all I've done is live there and raise 3 kids. That's part of the growing community. Yeah, does that mean I pay more in taxes? Obviously. Am I happy with the value of my house? Obviously. So, again, I'm not sure where the analysis came from that somehow we're going to have to raise taxes to support 275 homes out of the number of homes that we have in the city, but I don't buy it. So, anyway, I'm done.
Amanda?
It was in the city's own financial analysis is where they talked about raising the taxes, is what I said. So I'm saying those numbers of raising the taxes to 5% in that analysis was included in this, and we still came out with that much of a loss. It also said that these homes will be appreciating 4%. And I'll tell you, we were looking at numbers. I posted about it today. Doug Link, who was on the planning and zoning, ran all these numbers. He's an engineer at Boeing. And he looked at all 80,000 homes in St. Charles County. And last, 20 years or something, and those homes only appreciated 2%. I mean, you're an engineer, right? Right? So I'm saying, look at the numbers. You don't believe what the numbers tell you?
Anybody else? Debbie?
Thank you, Mayor. I was going to kind of save this until we voted for the rezoning and the area plan, but since we're already on it and all of these are all linked together, I have a couple of issues. I'm pro-labor, I'm pro-job, and I appreciate all of you coming out here. And again, if O'Fallon doesn't build it, have you build it in O'Fallon, you can build it in the county. I have an issue with the PUD. Jeremy, I know the reason you want the PUD, you want these little tiny lots. I would love to see you get rid of these little 40-foot lots. Build some bigger homes. I mean, even people on Facebook are commenting about it. We want bigger homes. We have a lot of the little lots already. Less dense, bigger, nicer homes. I don't have a problem with your subdivision, but I do have a problem with the little houses. And I've been up here a long time, and you've come through up here, and we've okayed a lot of subdivisions for you over the years, and never have you ever had to bring so many people up to speak in support of one of your developments, which is kind of a red flag to me, because if your product was that good and this was so good for the city, it would sell itself. But the fact that you had to have 15 people come up here and sell it to us is a real red flag for me. You've never done that before. When you brought Harvester, you never had to do that. You didn't have to give us the hard sell. Your product sold itself. The community sold itself. But for some reason, this product, I think, is not going to sell itself. So I have an issue with the PUD. I have an issue with the little houses, and that's why you want to bring it to O'Fallon, because we allow that. Instead of going to the county, they won't allow it. And I agree with all the numbers up here that's been said, and I've said this with other developments, the Post Farms that just was built. Those people are not going to drive down Highway K to go to Walmart. They're going to go to Walmart in Lake St. Louis. They're not going to drive Highway K to go to Kohl's. They're going to go to Wentzville. They're not going to drive down Highway K to go to our Deerbergs. They're going to go to the Deerbergs at Lake St. Louis. So the numbers just really don't add up for the city. So thank you.
And Debbie, if I can, the reason he's needing a PUD is because the creek's running through there for one. And two, I don't know if you watched the P and Z, and I believe you showed it at the last council meeting. If he went to a straight R1 zoning, Jeremy, correct me, how many houses could you put on there if you went to straight R1? Do you remember?
The same amount, but there'd be no green space.
There'd be no green space. So, to me, that's, plus you got the creek going through there and the telephone, electrical lines running through the property also. So that's why he needed the PUD. Because when he brought it forward, I said, you need to explain why you need the PUD. You just because you want it, you're not going to get it. So he explained why he needed the PUD. So, anybody else? Cast your vote. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 3. 7826 passes and becomes ordinance number
7284, sorry, 7282.
7282. Thank you, Bess. Brings Bill 7827. I need a motion to amend 7827 by adding the .1 version of the verified annexation petition.
Motion to approve Bill number 7827.1 as amended by staff.
Motion to amend.
Do what?
Second, Kewen.
There's motion to amend, right?
Yeah, sorry.
And second by Kewen? Yes. Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion for second reading for 7827.1.
Cascala.
Motion for Cascala, second.
Kewen.
Second by Councilman Kewen. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Bill number 7827.1, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance approving a petition for voluntary annexation filed by Caballo Farms Incorporated regarding certain property contiguous and compact to the city of O'Fallon, Missouri, and generally located on Gallup Lane.
Motion final passage.
Cascala.
Motion for Cascala, second.
Kewen.
Second by Councilman Kewen. Questions or comments? Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
6-3, motion passes. 7827.1 passed, now becomes ordinance number
7283.
7283. Thank you, Bess. Brings us to Bill 7828. Motion for second reading.
Cascala.
Motion for Cascala, second.
Kewen.
Second by Councilman Kewen. All in favor? Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Bill number 7828, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance approving a petition for voluntary annexation filed by Jeffrey Lapp regarding certain property contiguous and compact to the city of O'Fallon, Missouri, and generally located along Gallup Lane.
Motion final passage.
Cascala.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Motion by Cascala, second by Councilman Kewen. Questions or comments? Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
6-3. 7828 passes and becomes ordinance number
7284.
7284. Thank you, Bess. Brings to Bill 7829. Do I have a motion to amend Bill 7829 by adding the .1 version?
Motion to amend Bill 7829 to 7829.1.
Motion by Cascala, second.
Kewen.
Second by Councilman Kewen. Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Motion for second reading.
Motion Cascala.
Motion by Cascala, second.
Kewen.
Second by Councilman Kewen. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Bill number 7829.1, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance approving a petition for voluntary annexation filed by Mary E. Sudbrock Lucido Trust. Let me try that again. Mary E. Sudbrock Lucido Trust regarding certain property contiguous and compact to the city of O'Fallon, Missouri, and generally located on Gallup Lane.
Thank you. Motion for final passage.
Cascala.
Motion by Cascala, second.
Kewen.
Second by Councilman Kewen. Questions? Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
6-3, motion passes. 7829.1 passes and becomes ordinance number
7285.
7285. Thank you, Bess. Brings to Bill 7830. Motion for second reading?
Cascala.
Motion by Cascala, second.
Kewen.
Second by Councilman Kewen. All in favor? Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Bill number 7830, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance providing for the rezoning and area plan approval for a certain tract of land located to the west of Harvest at Hopewell subdivision near Deer Road, owned by Jeffrey G. Lapp, Caballo Farms Incorporated, Mary E. Sudbrock, Lucido Trust, and Aaron and Sherry Moore from unincorporated, proposed to be annexed to R1 PUD Single Family Residential District Planned Unit Development.
Thank you. Motion final passage.
Cascala.
Motion by Cascala, second.
Kewen.
Second by Councilman Kewen. Questions or comments? Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
6-3. 7830 passed, becomes ordinance number
7286.
7286. Thank you, Bess. Brings to Bill 7831. Motion for second reading by title only.
Roth.
Motion by Councilman Roth, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. All in favor? Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Bill number 7831, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance providing for the rezoning of a certain tract of land located at 401 East Wabash Avenue and owned by Alula Baskets Incorporated from I-1 Light Industrial District, Downtown Overlay, to C2 General Business District, Downtown Overlay.
Thank you. Motion final passage.
Roth.
Motion by Councilman Roth, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. Questions or comments? Seeing none, cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. 7831 passes and becomes ordinance number
7287.
7287. Thank you, Bess. Brings to Bill 7832. Motion for second reading.
Roth.
Motion by Councilman Roth, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. All in favor? Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Bill number 7832, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance providing for the rezoning of a portion of a certain tract of land located at 3 White Oak Lane and owned by David and Anna Kelly from C1 Restricted Business District to C2 General Business District.
Thank you. Most final passage.
Roth.
Motion by Councilman Roth, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. Questions or comments? Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. 7832 passed, becomes ordinance number
7288.
7288. Thank you, Bess. Brings to Bill 7833. Motion for first read, second reading.
Cook.
Motion by Councilwoman Cook, second.
Boyer.
Second by Councilman Boyer. All in favor? Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Bill number 7833, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance declaring the home located at 411 Woodlawn Avenue to be a landmark of the city of O'Fallon and establishing standards relating to the treatment of the site.
Thank you. Most final passage.
Cook.
Motion by Councilman Cook, second.
Boyer.
Second by Councilman Boyer. Questions or comments? Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. 7833 passed, becomes ordinance number
7289.
7289. Thank you, Bess. Brings to Bill 7834. Motion for second reading.
Cook.
Motion by Councilwoman Cook, second.
Ragsdale.
Second by Councilman Ragsdale. All in favor? Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Bill number 7834, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance declaring the home located at 419 Woodlawn Avenue to be a landmark of the city of O'Fallon and establishing standards relating to the treatment of the site.
Thank you. Most final passage.
Cook.
Motion by Councilman Cook, second.
Ragsdale.
Second by Councilman Ragsdale. Questions or comments? Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. Bill 7834 passes and becomes ordinance number
7290.
7290. Thank you, Bess. Brings to Bill 7835. Motion for second reading.
Ragsdale.
Motion by Councilman Ragsdale, second.
Roth.
Second by Councilman Roth. All in favor? Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Bill number 7835, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance approving an agreement between St. Charles County and the City of O'Fallon to reimburse a portion of the construction costs for the Guthrie Road Bridge Improvements Project in an amount not to exceed $70,250.
Thank you. Motion for final passage?
Ragsdale?
Motion by Councilman Ragsdale, second.
Roth.
Second by Councilman Roth. Questions or comments? Seeing none, cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. Bill 7835 passed and becomes ordinance number
7291.
7291. Thank you, Bess. Brings Bill 7836. Motion for second reading.
Boyer.
Motion by Councilman Boyer, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Bill number 7836, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance approving an agreement between St. Charles County and the City of O'Fallon to reimburse a portion of the design cost for the Highway and Shared Use Path project in an amount not to exceed $160,000.
Thank you. Motion for final passage.
Boyer.
Motion by Councilman Boyer, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. Questions or comments? Seeing none, cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. Bill 7836 passed, becomes ordinance number
7292.
7292. Thank you, Bess. Brings to Bill 7837. Motion for second reading.
Wexler.
Motion by Councilman Wexler, second.
Boyer.
Second by Councilman Boyer. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
We got 7.
7837.
Bill number 7837, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance approving a funding agreement between St. Charles County and the City of O'Fallon to reimburse a portion of the Bryan Road Pavement Preservation Project in an amount not to exceed $234,294.40.
Motion final passage.
Wexler.
Motion by Councilman Wexler, second.
Boyer.
Second by Councilman Boyer. Questions or comments? Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. 7837 passes and becomes ordinance number
7293.
7293. Thank you, Bess. Brings Bill 7838. Motion for second reading.
Cascala.
Motion by Cascala, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Bill number 7838, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance approving an amendment number 2 between St. Charles County and the City of O'Fallon to reimburse a portion of the Deer Road Reconstruction Phase 1 project in an amount not to exceed $6,036,800.
Motion final passage.
Cascala.
Motion by Councilman Cascala, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. Questions or comments? Seeing none, cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. 7838 passes and becomes ordinance number
7294.
7294. Thank you, Bess. Brings Bill 7839. Motion for second reading.
Cascala.
Motion by Councilman Cascala, second by Councilwoman Cook. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Bill number 7839, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance approving a funding agreement between St. Charles County and the City of O'Fallon to reimburse a portion of the Deer Road Reconstruction Phase 2 project in an amount not to exceed $440,000.
Motion final passage.
Cascala.
Motion by Cascala, second.
Cook.
Second by Councilwoman Cook. Questions? Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. 7839 passes, becomes ordinance number
7295.
7295. Thank you, Bess. Brings to Bill 7840. Motion for second reading.
Cook.
Motion by Councilwoman Cook, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Bill number 7840, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance approving a funding agreement between St. Charles County and the City of O'Fallon for an application assistance agreement for the Bryan Road and Veterans Memorial Parkway intersection project in an amount not to exceed $32,000.
You talked this much in a long time,
I
haven't
know, I'm running out.
you? Motion for final passage.
Cook.
Motion by Councilman Cook, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. Questions or comments? Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. 7840 passes and becomes ordinance number
7296.
7296. Thank you, Bess. Brings to Bill 7841. Motion for second reading.
Wexler.
Motion by Councilman Wexler, second.
Ewan.
Second by Councilman Kuhn. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Bill number 7841, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance approving a funding agreement between St. Charles County and the City of O'Fallon to reimburse a portion of the cost of the Mexico Road resurfacing and pedestrian improvements project in an amount not to exceed $520,088.
Motion final passage.
Wexler.
Motion by Councilman Wexler, second.
Ewan.
Second by Councilman Kuhn. Questions or comments? Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. 7841 passed, becomes ordinance number
7297.
7297. Thank you, Bess. Brings to Bill 7842. Motion for second reading.
Cascala.
Motion by Cascala, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Bill number 7842, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance providing for the approval and acceptance of the dedication of streets and storm sewers excluding detention for maintenance by the City of O'Fallon for villages at Shady Creek, Plat 8.
Thank you. Motion final passage.
Cascala.
Motion by Cascala, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. Questions or comments? Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. 7842 passed, becomes ordinance number
7298.
7298. Thank you, Bess. Questions or comments on the committee and commission reports? Stand as read. Questions or comments on the consent calendar?
Motion to approve.
Second, Ewan.
Motion by Councilman Ragsdale, second by Councilman Kuhn. Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. The consent calendar has been approved. Brings us to Bill 7843. Motion for first reading.
Ewan.
Motion by Councilman Kuhn, second.
Thompson.
Second by Councilman Thompson. Councilman Kuhn, please present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Bill number 7843, an ordinance approving an intergovernmental agreement between St. Charles County and the City of O'Fallon to pay reimbursement for a portion of the overlay of Old Highway 79, an amount not to exceed $68,936.
Thank you. Motion first brings to Bill 7844.
Cascala.
Motion by Cascala, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. All in favor? Councilman Cascala, please present the bill.
Confusing me, Mayor. Bill number 7844, an ordinance approving the record plat of the Streets of Caledonia subdivision, Plat 10, and authorizing the city clerk to attest and certify approval of said plat.
Thank you. Motion for second reading.
Cascala.
Motion by Cascala, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Bill number 7844, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance approving the record plat of the Streets of Caledonia subdivision, Plat 10, and authorizing the city clerk to attest and certify approval of said plat.
Thank you. Motion final passage.
Cascala.
Motion by Cascala, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. Questions or comments? Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. 7844 passed, becomes ordinance number
7299.
7299. Questions or comments on Resolution 226, 2026F? Seeing none, motion is second to introduce.
Cascala.
Motion by Cascala, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Resolution 226, 2026F, a resolution authorizing change order number 2 with Aspire Construction Services LLC, providing for additional work for the Real-Time Information Center project in an amount not to exceed $4,000.
Thank you. Most second to approve.
Cascala.
Motion by Cascala, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. Council members, cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. Resolution F has been approved. Questions or comments on Resolution G? Seeing none, motion second to introduce.
Roth.
Motion by Councilman Roth, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. All in favor? Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Resolution 226, 2026G, a resolution authorizing a change order with Contegra Construction Company LLC, providing for O'Fallon wastewater treatment plant solids handling improvements project in an amount not to exceed $46,979.75.
Thank you.
We need projects with shorter names. That's the problem.
You're the one that write this.
Fair enough.
Motion to approve.
Roth.
Motion by Councilman Roth, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. Councilman, cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. Resolution G has been approved. Questions or comments on Resolution H? Seeing none. Motion second to introduce.
Cascella.
Motion by Cascella, second. Second by Councilman Cook. All in favor? Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Resolution 226, 2026H, a resolution authorizing an agreement with Brink Drones Incorporated, providing for one responder safeguard drone in an amount not to exceed $127,495.75.
Motion to approve.
Cascella.
Motion by Cascella, second.
Cook.
Second by Councilman Cook. Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. Resolution H has been approved. Questions or comments on Resolution I? Seeing none, motion second to introduce.
Wexler.
Motion by Councilman Wexler, second.
Roth.
Second by Councilman Roth. All in favor? Any opposed? All in favor? Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Resolution 226, 2026I, a resolution authorizing an agreement with Site Improve, providing for website accessibility services in an amount not to exceed $10,000.
Thank you. Motion second to approve. Motion by Councilman Wexler, second.
Roth.
Second by Councilman Roth. Cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. Resolution I has been approved. Questions or comments on Resolution J? Seeing none, motion second to introduce.
Cook.
Motion by Councilman Cook, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. All in favor? Any opposed? Mr. O'Keefe.
Resolution 226, 2026J, a resolution authorizing change order number 1 with Infrastructure Management Incorporated for the Main Street Phase 2 Improvement Project in an amount not to exceed $415,139.76.
Thank you. Motion second to approve.
Cook.
Motion by Councilman Cook, second.
Wexler.
Second by Councilman Wexler. Council members, cast your vote.
The voting's closed.
9 yes, 0 no. Resolution J has been approved. There's no further business. This meeting adjourned at 8:50.